Have you been monitoring risk in your project? There is some points to consider before you start monitoring risk. Let's watch. Have you ever been in such a scenario where you are driving and all of a sudden you find a signpost that there is road is blocked ahead? You have several options here. You can proceed and ignore the sign. You can choose to turn and get back where you came from. You can also decide to stop and inquire what is ahead. But all these things you are doing because you are avoiding the risk which is ahead. A risk is any event, whether negative or positive, but it have impact on your project. So you need to manage this risk. So risk management is now planning, drafting a plan to minimize the risk or the impact of this risk. And it is a process. First, you have to identify the risk. So in this scenario, when you turn around and get back to where you came from, it means you did not identify the risk. Then if you proceed and see the magnitude of risk, already you know what is in the road ahead. Then you'll be able to proceed to the next stage of risk analysis. So in this scenario, you can choose to analyze the risk using both qualitative and quantitative ways of analyzing the risk. Maybe you can categorize the probability of the risk, then the impact of the risk, whether it is low, medium, or high. When you analyze this risk, then you proceed to the next level or the next step and draft a risk response plan. A risk response plan is the way to now handle this risk. For example, if you decide not to know the risk, you are already avoiding the risk. That is one response. You have already avoided the risk and turn back to where you came from. If you already identified the risk, you can mitigate it. Maybe the risk was medium, you just develop strategies to minimize it to low. So you mitigate the risk not to escalate. If you cannot be able to avoid the risk and you cannot be able to mitigate the risk, you can transfer the risk to the third party. Maybe an insurance. You can take an insurance and then you transfer all the risk there. If you are unable to transfer the risk or to mitigate the risk or to avoid the risk, you can accept the risk and proceed with the road. You just accept the risk. And accepting the risk is you have already weighed all options, all the outcomes. So you are aware anything can happen on that road. Now, when you have already drawn this plan, you need to use monitoring and evaluation tools to make sure that you monitor how the risk is proceeding. Thank you very much. We shall be looking at monitoring and evaluation for risk and updating risk response front in our next session. Thank you.